You can see the smoke quite clearly and the smell is even with open windows quite nasty. I am quite happy about the decision to just widen the front of the opening.
Hiedalle.
Today's mission: increased cutout size of IBC. Once this year's aquaponic setup is complete, there will be an ebb and flow grow bed on top of the 2 IBC tanks. This will limit access. Increase cutout size of the already filled tank. Tip: contaminating the water with any kind of debris will fail the mission. The tip refers to the plastic splinters which had to be vacuumed off last time when I selected Conrad with the jigsaw, and someone in the comments suggested I should have selected Stuart with the gas for entertainment purposes. This is hilarious, even though it would probably have flooded the space. I will stick with Conrad for now, but change the tool and maybe wear a mask too. Okay, let's go. Today, the Black Mystery case contains a hot knife. This is basically a metal blade which is powered with electricity. Once plugged in, the blade will heat up and it will melt the plastic rather than cut it like with the jigsaw. This will limit the creation of debris and therefore won't contaminate the water with the fish. Since the hot knife was in the case, it first needs to be assembled. The blade is detached and can be inserted once the 4 hex screws are loosened and then fastened to hold the blade in place. Once the knife is assembled and plugged in, pressing the red button will close the circuit and enables the electrical current to flow through the blade, which increases its temperature. If the button is released, the blade's temperature drops immediately and the cutting becomes more and more difficult. Let's get to it. Before we can cut, let's remove some of the old plant channels, which are fastened with cable ties. Let's use some pliers here to remove them. The old plant channels are made from plastic window frames. These are basically square-shaped pipes and we had them otherwise thrown out after we used the glass of the used windows as new windows for our office cube here in this space. There will probably be an episode regarding the pros and cons for these channels at some point in this series. Back to the hot knife. It takes a while until the knife is hot enough to melt the HDPE of the IBCs. A sawing motion with the blade helps to increase cutting speed, but the process is much slower than with a proper saw. And the created fumes are a potential health risk as well. If you plan on cutting something by melting, do so in a well ventilated area and use some breathing protection. This corona mask I selected seems at least to slow down the loss of HP. On this version of the knife there is no hold clip to the switch, which has to be pressed the entire time the hot knife is used, which is okay since it's placed at the handle, but can be tiring if the cutting process takes time. An advantage of the hot knife compared to the jigsaw is that you can easier turn the knife around or use it at an angle, which makes it possible to leave the metal rods of the IBC in place this time. I first thought to widen the opening around the entire IBC, but due to the smoke and the time this process takes, only at the front of the tank seems sufficient. Here is the access point mostly anyway. But the red damage screen does not help to see where I'm cutting. Let's snack some pills from the Medipack to reboost the health bar. That's better. A few more cuts and the piece is loose. You can see the smoke quite clearly and the smell is even with open windows quite nasty. I am quite happy about the decision to just widen the front of the opening. This concludes today's mission. Subscribe for the next episode and leave some feedback in the comments below. You could also check out this video. Or if it's your birthday, maybe this one.
Hiedalle.